ओ मेरे भाई।
Hello there. Something very different. I've only done this once before in life. It came out decent. I did go online to check the recipe. Let me tell you first what it is. It's pickled watermelon rind. This is a very sudden pickle, if you want to call it, and it could be as a side with meats and anything you want with barbecues and stuff like that. It comes out actually excellent, and especially in this time of the year, as most people like to eat watermelons. Um, you can compost the rind, sure, but then again, you can use it to pickle it, and almost have a you almost use everything from it. This is a regular store-bought watermelon. I'm trying to grow. I haven't had a watermelon yet, so this is store-bought. What we will do is peel the green part off it, take the red flesh for us to eat, and the white portion, which is in the middle, that'll be used to cook. I was testing it earlier. I haven't figured out a good way to peel it yet. I was trying to do it with a whole watermelon. It might happen, or the other thing is you cut it, take the red flesh out, and then try to peel it. It's up to you, whichever makes it easy for you. So before we start peeling the watermelon, I already started doing the ginger. Almost make a paste out of it. The watermelon we would have already peeled. I'll show you. We'll cube it into 1-inch squares, and then we start the cooking process. The other thing are the containers over here. They were actually store-bought. This is the first time using them. They're washed already. The next thing we did was, most of the watermelon is cut already. I have a few left that I'll show. Ginger, which I was showing, I've brought to the level like this. It's not all the way minced. If you want to, you can go that far, but you'll see that since it'll be cooked, it'll be fine. Now, if we come over here, I talked about the spices. I'll start my fire right now. So this has started. What I went and did ahead. So this is a 2-cup marinating, again, no science to it. What I did was I did roughly a cup of my own last year's apple cider vinegar. Then I added some of the store-bought, and then some distilled. It was roughly around a cup. Could be higher or low, doesn't make a difference. As I said, the only reason I used the store-bought, I didn't have enough of my own. The mother is already happening in it, and I do want to keep that. So, because I'll start new apple cider vinegar this year, it will help. The other thing I did was added sugar in it. This is the size of the spoon. I will say this is roughly like, this is a soup spoon. I did 3 or 4 of them. Sugar, again, depending on you. You can do brown sugar, you can do honey. The only reason I use crystallized white sugar, which I'm a bit against it, it will keep my color nicer. If I would have gone for brown or honey, yes, the flavor will be excellent, everything. I do want to have the looks also. So the stove has already started. I'll pour this inside. I hate to waste things because when I did it, not all of the sugar came out. So what I'm about to do now here, I'll add other things. I want this to come to a boil, a good rolling boil. At that point in time, I'll add the rinds. So what else? Sugar I've already used. Salt I haven't. Kosher salt, you can use table salt. I just find the flavor of kosher salt built different. People will say at the end of the day it's just a salt. No, I think the added things do make a difference. So how much salt? Whatever I have, I would say by that time I'm done, 2.5 pounds, roughly 3 pounds of rinds. It's just a guesswork. Salt, 1 spoon, 1 spoon, 2.5. Then star anise, You just need a jolt. One should be enough, not too much. Many people do not use black pepper. I just like the smell of black pepper. It just gives an oomph. Whatever I have seen people doing, they just go for allspice. Fair enough. I just prefer not too much. Uh, a dozen balls. So I'm done with these. Then again, 10 to 12 of whole allspice. Now, do remember in this recipe, do not try to use powdered allspice. The profile of the two is very different. Because the good thing with using a whole is if somebody does not like it, they can take it out when they eat it. If you use the powder kind, the problem is it does become a bit overpowering, so be careful. Again, not using too much of red pepper, just enough so I can see it, and a bit of paprika. You can use any kind of paprika. It doesn't make a difference. Last thing, as it's boiling, I'll lower it, but this was the ginger that I was doing. Even that goes in here. Now, since you're not around me, at this point in time, the kitchen has a decent amount of vinegar smell to it. Don't worry about it too much. Okay, as I moved it, surely the vinegar smell has not gone away, but since I use fresh ginger, I can smell it. So the profile is already changing. This is done. The reason I'm mixing it, I want the sugars and the salts and whatever spices we use to mix well together. Because once it starts boiling and once it starts cooking, at that point in time, if I start moving it too much, it starts breaking. So you don't want that. So from here, I'll cover it. I cooked a bit longer than what I said I would. Again, depends on the quality of the watermelon, the way everything is going. I told you that after the rolling boil, I'll do medium for 5 minutes. I did 6 to 8. And then I'll let it sit for another 20-25 minutes. It's done. What I want to show you right now, consistency is the one which I've already tasted. So taste has already been figured out. With consistency right now, it's a bit crunchy or chewy, if you want to use that word. Don't be alarmed about it. The reason I want to show this to you, if you will make it to the point that it's soft, this is about to sit in a brine which is based of vinegar, acidity, salt, for 2 to 3 weeks at least. And it will soften up anyway. If you make it soft right now, that'll be a problem. I could have cooked it for a few extra minutes. You know what? Every time we learn. So what we do now, washed containers, start pouring them in. So I'm not tightening it that it's all the way tight, but it's tight enough. Go do this. And I'll come back in 5 minutes and the seals will be ready. I'll put the seal, actually it will have closed it. Then I'll tighten it up. Let it sit outside for 2 to 3 days. Might let it sit outside a bit longer just because it was on the harder side. And from there, it can sit in the fridge for a good few months. That's it. Like and subscribe. The seal part, in any other video, we'll do a lot of pickling videos. I'll show you how that seal works. In this video, once like in the next 5 or 7 minutes, I'll turn it around and I'll do this, and the seal would have gone in. If I wanted the seal to go in quicker, I should have left it a bit hotter, which I did. That's fine because I wanted to touch it that way. Again, thank you so much. See you next week.